Hey there, this is Jesus Freaks. You have found me again. I'm reading Beautiful Outlaw by John Eldredge. Today we are on chapter 12, Beautiful, and it is a very short chapter, so you get to join me while I barbecue. Alright, chapter 12, Beautiful. There are certain people you would want by your side if you were summoned to appear in court. And then there are others you want to take with you to a party. You can probably think of one or two folks you'd want to be with if you had to walk through a rough part of town. Then there are the gems you'd love to have join you on vacation. If you are lucky, you know a few rare souls you would feel completely comfortable calling at 2 a.m. to share your suffering. The people you want to entrust with your surgery or the care of your children might not be the ones who come to mind when playing the old game. Whom would you take if you knew you were going to be stranded on a desert island? They are very rarely the same person, right? We all know brilliant minds who could do with a touch of humility, humble folk who ought to stand up for themselves, driven types who need to lighten up, jokesters who should grow up, and gracious souls who really ought to get good and mad once in a while. My lawyer ought to take dance lessons, and the dance instructor needs a little more, backbone. But imagine if you found it all in one person. Superb before a jury, terrific taste in movies, ready at the drop of a hat for a riot of a vacation, and also able to handle your deepest, darkest secrets. Wouldn't you want this person to be your friend? Jesus is this man. Remember now these snapshots. Imagine them. Take your time and bring each one before your mind's eye. On the beach, catching fish with the boys. Clearing the temple. Touching the man with leprosy after his famous sermon. Infuriating the Pharisees by healing on the Sabbath. Midday at the Samaritan well. Before Lazarus' tomb, losing his cousin, late in the reception at Cana, dinner with Martha, learning to use a hammer and nail, all those miles by foot, his own trial and torture, and then the Emmaus Road. The vast richness of this man is enthralling. When I first became a Christian more than 32 years ago, the little church group I found myself in sang a worship song that went, "Beautiful, beautiful, Jesus is beautiful." I joined in wholeheartedly, sensing it was true, but not quite certain what it meant, really. Were they saying that Jesus is good looking? Now I understand. To say that Jesus is perfect, as the defenders of his glory do, isn't the right choice of words. A stainless steel ball was perfect. Cinderella's glass slipper was perfect. A haiku is perfect. Perfect makes me think of Barbie. Grecian urn, a math equation. Words are important. Words shape our perceptions. When they define, they can also distort. There is a far better way to describe this man whose face is the most human face of all. Jesus is beautiful. His ability to live with all these qualities we've seen in such a way that no one quality dominates, as is so often the case in our own personalities, eclipsing the richness of the others, to live in such a way that there is always something of an element of surprise, and yet, however he acts, turns out to be exactly what was needed in the moment. Oh, his brilliance shines through, but never blinding, never overbearing. He is not glistening white marble. He is the playfulness of creation, scandal and utter goodness, the generosity of the ocean and the ferocity of a thunderstorm. He is cunning as a snake and gentle as a whisper, the gladness of sunshine and the humility of a 30-mile walk by foot on a dirt road, reclining at a meal, laughing with friends, and going to the cross. That is what we mean when we say Jesus is beautiful. But most of all, it is the way he loves. In all these stories, every encounter, we have watched love in action. Love as strong as death. A blood, sweat, and tears love, not a get-well card. You learn a great deal about the true nature of a person in the way they love, why they love, and in what they love. While Jesus was in Bethany in the home of a man known as Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he was reclining at the table. When the disciples saw this, they were indignant. "Why this waste?" they asked. "This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor." And aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. I tell you the truth. Wherever this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will also be told in memory of her." Matthew 26, 6-13. She's done a beautiful thing indeed, but it takes a beautiful heart to recognize the beauty in a scandalous act and to love it as he does. This is why we say Jesus is beautiful, a beautiful outlaw. This changes everything. A good friend of mine was reading the manuscript as I passed along chapters to him, and at this point he put the book down and said, "This means everything. This changes everything." It does. It will. But only if you find him for yourself. All of this is merely entertaining unless it opens the door for us to experience Jesus. The best thing we can do now is pause before we are saturated with more information about Jesus and begin to discover him for ourselves. Experience him personally in these ways. "Come and see," said Philip to Nathanael in John 1:46. Come and see for yourself. All right, Jesus Freaks. Tomorrow will be chapter 13, Loving Jesus. I pray that you will join us then. Thank you.